Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Slay to Success talk show. Everyone knows I am Rochelle Slay Queen Hemingway. All right, if you didn't know, now you know. And I am your host for tonight. I am the CEO and founder of Slay to Success LLC. I'm also a speaker and author of the book titled Slay to Success, a mentor, and a 30-year United States Air Force veteran. Huh? So, welcome in. If you are here, please making sure that you let us know and make sure you put into the comments where you're streaming in from so I can give you a big shout out. So, Slay to Success. What is Slay to Success? Well, Slay to Success LLC is a leadership and transformational consulting business, and it's designed to help mid to senior level professional women who have recently arrived in a position of leadership, who are on the precipice of leadership, or who are facing an inflection point in their careers or in their lives by offering keynote speaking services for conferences, events, retreats, nonprofits, and large meetings. I also do leadership development workshops for businesses, for organizations and companies. And I do leadership development courses for aspiring and established women working in leadership roles, one on one mentorship consultations for aspiring and established women, also one on one mentorship consultations for women who are transitioning from a 20+ year career. I also have a women's exclusive private Facebook membership group for support, encouragement, and community. And I also offer women empowerment luncheons, meetups, and events. My next community event, if you are in the Bowie, Maryland area, Brambles, Crawford, Maryland, or if you want to drive on in, the next meetup is on the 20th of October at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at the Galliano Italian Restaurant in Grambles. All right. So, the purpose of why we're here on this talk show, y'all, is to highlight men and women who have living a life of service on their own terms and using the slave philosophies to positively impact the world. The word slay, y'all, it means to kill it, to dominate it, and to nail it, to dream and work hard until you own it, to be on point and to impress greatly. It's also an acronym. And as we know, it also stands for stay ready to be ready, lead out loud, a sense of family, and you are built to last. So let's just take care of a little bit of housekeeping while we're here before we move on. So I'm going to pull up this QR code, okay? Now, if you want to know what Slay to Success is doing, what's happening, what's going on, go ahead and scan the QR code. In there, you're going to find some free tips, what I call resources for women in leadership, women that are transitioning after working in a career for 20+ year career. You're going to find how you can join the private exclusive women's Facebook membership group, my professional services that I offer, the YouTube channel, my book, and so much more. So do not hesitate. Take your phone and scan the QR code. All right. And don't forget, please do not forget, y'all. Please, please. All right. Let's listen. We're going to be sharing and we are subscribing. So subscribe to my YouTube channel here so that way you can get all the information and all the notifications that you need to make sure that you keep up on these shows because these shows are popping. Okay. If you don't have anything else to do, well, I wouldn't say that. If you have something to do right now, okay, I'm going to need you to stop, go get the beverage of your choice. I have my tea. All right. I won't ask what's in the cup. And you need to come back. Put yourself into a place where you can really pay attention to what's going on because my speaker for tonight is going to inspire, empower, educate, and it's going to be absolutely an amazing discussion. So I'm super excited to have this SLAYMAZING, and I'll say SLAYMAZING again, conversation with my Army sister in arms, and retired. We retired about the same time, and her name is Shirley Baez. And she is in the building, y'all. Okay. Now, Shirley Baez is an unstoppable force, guiding and empowering countless individuals on their journey to discover their true potential. As the visionary founder and CEO of the LeadHERship Academy, Shirley's mission is to embolden women to embrace their inner strength and take the helm of their professional and personal lives as true leaders. She is a dynamic speaker and accomplished author. Shirley has co authored two books, y'all, that achieved the prestigious status of #1 Amazon bestsellers, The Powerful Female Immigrant and Real Women in Real Estate. These achievements complement her inspiring book, Lead Your Ship, Unlock Your True Self, and Captain Your Ship Like a Boss. Shirley's wisdom is informed by her remarkable 20-year career as a retired Army Special Operations veteran. If you don't know, you know now. She is marked by numerous military achievement and recognition awards, exemplifying her dedication to excellence. So, beyond her military accomplishments, Shirley's passion shines through her coaching, where she equips individuals with the essential tools to navigate life's challenges and succeed both personally and professionally. Notably, Shirley has also cultivated a deep knowledge of real estate, amassing an impressive portfolio of over 480 units as a dedicated student and investor. Shirley Baez's journey is a testament to the transformative power of leadership, resilience, and her unwavering commitment to empowering others. So, put your hands together, y'all, for my retired sister in arms, Shirley. Hey, Queen.
Hi, Rochelle.
What's going on?
Oh my goodness, it's been great. Thank you for the amazing introductions. Thank you so much. I
You're
appreciate
welcome,
it.
girl. You wrote it and you sent it. Well, look, I do stalking. Okay, so I stalked your page that you sent me, and I was like, this is amazing. Let me just copy all this, and this is what we're going to advertise with. I am so impressed, okay, by what you have done since you've retired. And we've got folks here who are coming in. So let me give them shout outs. Hey, Chevy. Good evening, my queen. And Vanity's here. Thank you for being here live. And of course, the Madame is here. Leslie George, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate y'all coming in live because you could be anywhere else. You could be doing something else, right? And you're going to hang out with us for a little bit. So tell the people, okay, if you will, a little bit about your Army military career experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. So I lived in New York City, and I knew that I wanted to pursue a higher education. But I hit a roadblock, and I couldn't attend. And so, walking back to my home, I saw my sign that says, we'll pay for your college. It's like a
Mm.
little kiosk,
Mhm.
with a big sign. I pay for your college. We'll
Oh,
pay for
yeah.
your college. And for me, that was a sign. That was a sign of, hey, you want to go to school? This is your opportunity. But then something really impactful happened a month prior to me shipping out to basic training. The Twin Towers got hit, and I was in
Mm.
New York City firsthand. I saw uh, just the uncertainty that was happening at the time, and how we got surprised and hit. And I tell you that my mind changed right away from just wanting an education to wanting to serve my country. Um, the first 8 years I served as a logistician, and I knew that I had already mastered my craft. It was great. I was in the 82nd Airborne Division, and I knew that I wanted something different. And so I was looking for something challenging that can challenge me physically and mentally. And that's when I saw the special operations offering a qualification course for civil affairs. And so I went to the qualification course, and, I passed it. And here I am. It's been a wealth of knowledge received and achieved, and is been quite a journey, an adventurous journey that I truly do miss sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and really had a lot of fun while doing it.
Yeah. So for those that don't know exactly what your job entailed, can you just give them a brief synopsis so that way they really know that you are the bad mamma jamma? I'm gonna say that, okay? Because people just really need to understand what all you did.
Right. So the first 8 years, again, I was a logistician. So I was an ammunition specialist. I was stationed at Fort Bragg. So I supported, the infantry guys on the front lines with, logistical needs. When I transitioned over to the special operations community and became a civil affairs specialist, what I specialized is understanding the human terrain and understanding disenfranchised communities, right? And what
Mm,
were the root causes of instability in the area. And so they called us like the nerds of special operations, because we're always analyzing the terrain and why people act the way that they act, and are susceptible to malign actors, right? Being,
mm,
overtaking or taking advantage of weaknesses and gaps in an area. So we would embed ourselves. I mean, we would live within the communities and within the villages, right? And we would be the connectors between their local governments. So with us, and the working by, through, and with their local governments, we would assist those disenfranchised communities with essential services.
wow. And I'm sure you were deployed to a lot of different areas that people would probably be like, oh, I didn't even know that even existed.
Yeah, we did a lot of cool stuff, but I tell you, where we went, nobody wants to be at.
I can only imagine, and so, through that, as you transition, what were your challenges
Oh, wow.
initially when you retired from the army?
Yeah. So throughout the tail end of my career, that's when I was completing my time as a first sergeant at the
Mhm,
John F. Kennedy School of Excellence. There, I was the first sergeant for the Civil Affairs Qualification Course. And so I knew that towards the tail end of my career, approaching 17, 18 years, I knew that it was time to hang up the gloves. Mind you, before the military, I didn't have a job. I never had a job. So this was a brand new thing for me. I didn't know what I didn't know, but I knew that I wanted something different, and that it was time for me to embark on a new chapter. And so, definitely a lot of uncertainty, a lot of sleepless nights. What am I going to do? How do I do this? What's going to happen? Am I going to get a job? Am I going to falter or suffer financially?
mhm,
But one of the things that I was that encountered, right, was the career transitional programs that were out there. Not
mhm.
just TAPS.
Okay.
TAPS is the military, the thing that you have to do,
Yeah.
right?
And for our audience, TAPS is the Transition Assistance Program where they administratively um, retire you from the Air Force or separate you from the Air Force.
Correct. So it's the same in the army as well.
Yep.
So, but I knew that I wanted something very deep that can kind of go into more of my emotional state, my my why, finding myself. And so I was very fortunate to be a part of a couple of them, such as the Honor Foundation, the Commit Foundation, For Block. Those were amazing, amazing programs that gave me a good foundation of understanding myself, what I wanted to do, and what I really loved. And so at the time, I allowed myself to go back to uh, pre-military Shirley, where she was a creative. I did before coming into the military, I designed clothes because I was in high school of fashion industries.
Oh,
I used to dance modern jazz. I was an athlete. And so I wanted to go back and touch, go back to my roots, right? And how did that look like? Because now I'm no longer a young person, right? The military saw me as an 18-year-old naive soldier to now a grown woman,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
40 years young woman
Yep.
who have been through so many things, and definitely what the catalyst for me at the time was being very, very intentional about the things that I wanted to achieve post military and the things that made me personally happy. And so, doing that, journaling, and really having introspection on the things that I wanted to do allowed me to get close to my goals.
Yeah. I mean, y'all, so me and Shirley have like a lot of things in common. In fact, we met one another about a year ago in another group of women. They had a veterans, um, kind of like a empowerment community. And so we instantly connected, and she was on one of my Facebook lives in my previous community that I had. So she was one of my guests, but it has been a full year. And let me tell you something. If y'all ain't keeping up with Shirley, y'all need to do that because she is on the go. And I'm just like, I'm so inspired by what you've been able to do and how you transition and specifically what you speak to. So, I speak in the same um kind of like areas that you do, like leadership, wellness, mindset. So tell us your thoughts about leadership. Like if there are like two or three, like very like two that you are so connected to and that you share with others about leadership, what are those?
Well, I always have this mantra, right? That in order for you to know how to lead others, you must know how to lead yourself first.
Yes.
So definitely, we are evolving human beings. But then again, we try to always master ourselves and master our craft. And so definitely, as I grew as a leader, that's when I found really my true self. For me, leadership is very, very, very important, not only in our personal lives, but in our professional lives. Why? Because we're impacting others. Whether
Mhm.
you think about it or not, we're always making decisions and we're doing some type of leadership stuff at whatever point in our lives, right?
Yep.
And as I was being molded, and now as I transitioned, and reflecting on leadership, uh, I came up with a little acronym. For me, those are my leadership pillars personally. And it's
Mhm.
the acronym SPIRE. For those of you who don't know, SPIRE is kind of the synonym of an apex or the zenith or a pyramidal, structure. And what it stands for, the S is strategic vision. The P is people centric. The I is innovation and adaptability. And the RE is responsibility and empowerment. For sure,
Mm.
those are the things that I know introspectively really exercise when I led people. So
Yeah, I think look, I'm the acronym queen too. I love me some acronyms. Leslie. I just put her co-founder's middle name together, but Leslie, she wrote it out for everyone in the comments so that you can see. But when we have these acronyms that are very simple and easy to use in our messaging, people kind of they start to gravitate to it. So when you share this with your team, what kind of responses did you see? Did they remember? I'm sure they remembered it, but were they able to see themselves in the spire?
I mean, absolutely. I didn't outright tell them, okay, this is what it means. But
Hmm.
me taking the actions to foster and support my leadership principles is what got me the buy-in from my people. Definitely mission and vision and the why are very important when you're
Hmm.
leading an organization on a project or an initiative, right? And so little by little exercising those key elements that for me are my principles is what got me for my people to support me, basically.
Yeah.
Definitely also caring about your soldiers or the people that you lead, wanting to know their story. People always want to be cared for and be understood. So it took me a while to really learn that, but once I did, everything changed for me.
It's a game changer.
It is a game changer
Y
for sure.
yeah, when you can really understand yourself as a leader and then be able to project that, the energy, it's not even about, like, what you're saying, it's about a different type of energy.
Mm.
Like, they can hear it, they can see it, and they know it's coming from a genuine place, so I really appreciate that. What else would you say for, like, leadership, something that you're, passionate about in leadership?
And well, now as I transitioned, I'm very passionate about mentoring transitioning service members because that is a leadership trait too. That is a leadership initiative as well. Being able to be a leader and coach someone through an uncertain moment in their lives, because coming from the military where we're all living in a little bubble, right?
Mhm.
Everybody, they would tell you how to dress, when to wake up, what to eat, where to be, what to say, to now owning yourself and owning your life. And you're like, oh my God, I had somebody tell me what to do for the last 20 years. What do I do? What do I want? What do I like?
Yeah.
But really sitting down and providing that perspective now that I'm on the other side of the fence to someone that's kind of like in limbo, right? And afraid, but also wanting a change in their lives, right? And so that really fills my cup, being able to pour into others in that way.
Yeah, I love that. And mentorship is so needed, like
Mhm.
especially for transitioning. I love the principle of coaching. I really appreciate to when you can ask some people questions and you get them to see what their solution is by something that they think of. But mentorship is just all about sharing, sharing information of things that we've been through and
Mhm.
how we kind of overcame that, or which path they should go down if they have a certain uh problem or something that they're trying to solve. Like, we've been there, done that, got the t-shirt,
Yes,
so we're
absolutely.
sharing all these things so that way they don't have to do that for themselves. They don't have to put in all that grind. And so, mentorship in the military setting in itself, if you are a leader, all right, mentorship should be one of the things that you are doing on a daily basis. it's,
Absolutely.
it's good to coach. I love me some coaching, but it's really good to hear some wisdom and some sage
Mm.
counsel and advice from those that walk that walk before. So yeah,
Yeah.
leadership is just so, I mean, I can talk about leadership all day.
It's natural to us, and in the civilian sector, especially in the corporate world, there's a need for a lot of leaders. There's a lot of people out there that, you know, are a bit clueless as to what that looks like. And for us, it's kind of like it's second nature to us because we've been in this big old leadership school for half our lives,
Yep.
doing it every day, right?
Every day.
But the corporate world especially, and a lot of people, even business owners, need those soft skills. They don't know how. I mean, I know they've been written a lot of articles lately about how the importance of leadership, not just hard skills, but like the true soft skills that move organizations and inspire and influence people, right?
Yeah.
So that's important because you're not a business owner if you have people under you as a business owner. the most important commodity are your people. It's not even
Oh,
you.
it-
Yeah. I mean, they're the ones
right,
that are making it happen. So,
right.
mhm,
So it rises and falls on the leader. And you're so right. There are many people that I found out now in the civilian, well, I call the civilian world,
mhm,
who didn't have maybe opportunities to get the leadership skills that they were needed. But I'm like, the leadership skills are so important for connection and networking.
yes.
Like, you have to be able to get yourself into uncomfortable positions, uncomfortable spaces, and really lead yourself through that and navigate through that. And some people have a very hard time doing that. And I spend time with my clients talking about that. Like, let's find an opportunity for you to get outside your comfort zone.
Mm.
Because out of the leader, that's what we do. How many times have you been in a meeting or a situation where they are asking you to go and speak and you weren't planning to go and speak?
Oh my God, plenty
Like,
of times. Woo! Yeah. Oh,
you get pulled to the carpet really quickly and you're like, and it's like, but as a leader, we're in tune, we're situationally aware, we take an emotional intelligence. All right. And for those that haven't read Emotional Intelligence 2.0, that is probably a good place to start to listen to the people around you and listen to yourself and how you react and you respond. So, you know, um, as you kind of moved into your transition, you also started to do some wellness. I saw some wellness activity going on. You had a business or a startup that you did. So tell me why wellness is important for you.
yeah. So that was one of my first business ventures that I did, because entrepreneurs, we try different things,
Yeah,
right?
we do.
We're creatives in our own sense, but definitely coming from the military, it's something that's already ingrained in me, because you have to stay mentally sharp, emotionally sharp, or stable. Health to me is very, very important, because you have to listen to your body. If you don't take care of your own temple, it's going to shut down on you. It really is. And I think what happened to me, in my father's passing a week and a half ago, really rung true to the wellness and care of myself. Because a lot of times your body is telling you certain things and you ignore it,
Hmm.
because you're either scared to go to the doctor or scared to do some life-changing things that you're not used to, and overlook that, and then your body tells you, this is the last straw. So it's very important for us to stay healthy inside and out, for mental sharpness, for leading our lives. We only get one chance in this world, you know
Absolutely.
and it was very, very apparent for me when I went through that situation, how important it is to live your life in a healthy way, and not get bogged down by petty stuff. And because we never know how long we're going to be on this earth. And so, very important to take care of your mind, body, and soul.
Yeah. You know, um, I think one of the challenges that I had when I retired was, I was so focused on the physical aspect because it was a condition of employment, right? You're in the military, you must be fit. I mean, I know people don't take it as seriously sometimes nowadays, but in our day when we were serving, it was a thing. It was like you professional appearance, passing your physical fitness test, making sure that you were ready for deployments and, all the other things that it entailed. But one of the things that I was truly not really focusing a lot of attention on was my mental health.
Mm,
And I saw a decline, for a stint of time where I was so overwhelmed with all the stimuli, with all of the tasks, with all of the, incidences that were occurring around me that I really didn't stop to think about, well, how you feeling in all this? Like, it was like almost like to a little bit of depressiveness,
Mhm.
because as a high performing leader, professional high performing women in leadership, which is a whole different thing that we can talk
Okay.
about, right? But we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and when we don't like meet all of the requirements, we start beating up ourselves, we get emotionally like sucked in, and so there's like a little bit of depressiveness that happens, and that was happening for me, and I had to step back and say, you know what, there's more than just being physically physically fit. you know what is this brain saying, what is this mind saying, what are my thoughts saying? And I think the more that we start to look at our mental health and not being such a stigma, and it's just part of our health. It is
Yes.
part of our health. you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, I'm with you 1,000% because with your story and what you went through, because first is the military culture that
Ye-
pushes that, right?
Yep.
And second, we're women and we are always trying to prove ourselves in a male dominated environment. We push
Yeah.
ourselves so much to exhaustion and depression, like you said. And so, uh, I went through the same thing, and also the stigma of you, let's say, being a leader and being a leader and leading organizations, where the stigma is, well, if you go see a counselor or a psychiatrist, then your job is on the line. And
Yep.
a lot of good leaders, you didn't even do that, didn't adhere to going to see a specialist, because there is that concern that you'll lose your position. And that was me for a long time, where I saw myself that I really got into a dark place and a very depressive state. And at the time, I was leading soldiers, and I had to make a change.
Yeah.
I had to be a little vulnerable and just take the leap of faith and go see a professional. And
Yeah.
as soon as I did that, Rochelle, I man, I would go every month, as I was doing my first sergeant duties, and I will come out brand new,
Brand
ready to
new.
ready to slay, like you say. Let me
Ready
tell
to
you, you
say.
need it. You
You
need it
do.
for
You
sure.
really
Very important.
do.
Mhm.
I was underestimating that, and when I went and just said, I just need to talk, I just need to share, I just need to
Mhm.
figure out what my baseline is. And after you come out of that, it's just like, man, why wasn't I doing this years before? Like, what was I
Yes.
afraid of? But it is a stigma, maybe career ending and so forth. But, if anyone is out there and is like dealing with any type of, strain or mental anxiety or any of these symptoms, do not hesitate. Please go get the help that you need. If you need professional help, that's what you need. All right. Because it's important.
No, and it'll make you a better leader.
Yeah.
You have to lead in a healthy way when you're in charge of people
Yeah.
and their well-being. So you have to be mentally and emotionally there.
Yeah.
So when I broke through all that stigma stuff, and I gave myself the opportunity to get well, that's when I started being more effective at my job.
Yeah. Agreed. So, I also talk about mindset, right? And I'm always seeking to be with positive. Like I always try to think of, what's the best outcome? What's the possible, the best possible scenario from me taking action and doing X, Y, or Z. So in the entrepreneurial space now, it's a whole different type of mindset that you have to have, right? So what have you found in your journey so far that you're just like, oh, like I need to change my mindset on?
Absolutely. Well, resilience,
Mm,
because entrepreneurship is a marathon, not a sprint. And a lot of
yes.
times we want to see those quick wins, those quick changes, and it's not necessarily so. You really have to do a lot of the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
first, and
Yeah.
really build that good foundation so that you can bring that credibility to your potential customer. And so
Yeah.
there were different things that I needed to change with regards to mindset. First, not being too overzealous or get easily bothered if something doesn't work the way that I was expecting it to work,
Mm-hmm.
or getting anxious, like wanting things to happen quick. And that was not working at all. And so when I took a step back and really was methodical about how I was building my brand, how I was building my business, it's when it started becoming fun, you know,
Yeah.
because you're not putting so much pressure on yourself. You're not trying to get 10 clients right now. Like, no, it's
Yeah.
you just have to build. You have to build. It's like a sandcastle, right? Or it's like a castle that you're building block by block by block. And a lot of the people that are successful or that are wealthy, they didn't get wealthy from one day to another. This was years in the making, and now you just happen to see them now
That's right.
relishing in their stuff. But yeah.
I often compare it, Shirley, to like our military careers, right? Because people saw us on the stage at chapter, whatever. So if it's at your last chapter, and then they're like, well, they were like, on top of the world. They did all these things, right? And it's like, yeah, but guess what? It took X amount of years to get to this point, and
Mm,
all the lessons that you have to learn and relearn. So why do you think building a business, unless you are from a family that passes the business on to you, and and they keep it in the family, if you're starting something from scratch, it's no kidding, excuse me,
mhm.
building blocks. It keeps going up and up. And I apologize, y'all, because I'm dark in here and I don't know what happened to the camera, but the camera is dark in here. So if you can't see me, at least you can hear me, right? But it gets to a point where you're just like, you have to appreciate the process. You have
Mhm.
to trust in yourself and then appreciate the journey in the process.
Absolutely.
So if we're looking to somebody else on the other side of us and going, well, how did they got there? And they started at the same time as I did. You don't know,
Yeah, you
right?
don't know where everybody's at. Everybody's at different levels. That's
Yeah.
why something that I learned very soon was minding my own business.
Minding our own businesses.
Yes, girl, mind your own business, and you'll be okay.
Right. Because I don't know what you got going on over there. I mean, who knows what it is, but don't if we don't pay attention to what we got going on in front of us,
Yeah,
all the things that we have built up to that certain point, it's going to be all for naught, because you're going to be like giving up. And I love the resilience, like that is the key to a lot to life. I just say for life in general, right?
yeah,
Because we have to be committed, and we have to make decisions, and we have to stick to the plan. We have to stay the course. Stay the course. But and that's rough. That's
yeah.
rough. I think people, when they see us too, because we're both pretty active on our social platforms, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
they don't really understand. I have people commenting all the day, all the time, man, you are just crushing it, you are slaying it. I'm like,
No.
yeah, but you guess what, y'all, what you don't see is right behind this curtain over here of me
Mhm.
staying up many nights trying to figure out how to do some technical thing, how to like design things, how to, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work and a lot of behind the scenes things, especially when you're a one-man show or a one-woman show, you
Yeah.
know. And we go back to appreciating the process, but also trusting the process. And the
Yes.
trust comes from your calling and
Here
your
we go.
purpose. And your
Yes.
purpose. That's what's going to lead you. It's going
Yes.
to make it easier for you to stay the course. If you
Yes.
if you don't have that passion, and you won't have the drive to get anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Okay, so we were talking about this earlier, right? We were talking about the calling. And um I bring this up because I was at a retirement ceremony, and one of the ladies, what after we share, what we did, and she's like, "So, you were serving the military?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "So for how long?" And I said, 30 years. And she's like, "Oh, that's a calling."
Mm,
And I was like, "Oh."
mm,
I mean, literally, I had to step back and go, "You know what? You're absolutely right. It is a calling."
yes.
Not everyone can do or had the opportunity or desired, or and you could put the or and put whatever you want behind it, but to get to that point of your career and still come out whole, y'all, because I'm still like, she says it was a calling. And so I understand what calling means. It's like in your heart.
Yes, and the interesting thing about that is, I I had a mentor that told me, "Hey, you probably won't automatically find your calling. It's by you doing the things that you find the calling." And it goes back
Absolutely.
to the military thing for me. Even though what happened at 9/11 really impacted me wanting to serve, but it's later on when I was developing as a leader is when I found my calling by doing the things. And so it's the same thing in this situation, is you find your calling by doing the things, not necessarily you having to know from one day to another, "Oh, what's my calling? Oh, I got it." No, it's not as simple as that, right? So,
Right. Yeah. I love when he says just doing the things,
mhm.
right? And finding what fits for you. What do you particularly are passionate about? What can you do all day without getting paid? And
Exactly.
still, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, and staying and dwelling in that. So I talk about dreaming and dabbling a lot,
Mm,
dreaming of what your new life, your next chapter would look like, and start dabbling,
yes,
start doing things
yes.
that are associated with that, and see where that takes you.
That
So
yeah, that's happiness.
oh,
That is true happiness right there. When you feel it in your heart that you're just doing it and not even expecting to get paid, right? And that's when the money flows, when there are no expectations. And I think that's for relationships in general too, right? So
oh,
our relationship
oh,
with money as well.
oh. Yeah, I talk about relationships all the time because I do have some clients that, they have people in their life that don't particularly support them, are not there for them, are not really understanding why they're even with a person, whether or not it's their spouse, their partner, a friend, a family member, it doesn't matter. And they continue on with these relationships, and it does not give them happiness. It's not giving them joy.
Yeah.
And then, years start compiling on top of years. And then you're just like, I don't even know what happened to my life,
Mm.
you
Yeah,
know?
it's pretty saddening, and I mean, I understand once you get into relationships and you're so used to your partner, whether they're bad or good.
Yeah.
We're creatures of habit, right? So in order
Yeah.
for us to break a habit, we have to take massive action, and that takes a lot of courage and a lot of determination in saying, "Okay, I'm ready to change." But that
Mm,
has to come from within.
yeah, it does. So I talk about inner CEO. What's your inner CEO telling
Oh,
you?
yes. Oh,
All right.
yes.
And the my private group, I share with them about, the inner CEO, and being able to really take on that persona and using that as you make your decisions, and letting it guide you, because you're right. I mean, most of the times we're right. It's just we're scared. We're not as
Mhm.
confident. We are fearful of the outcome. What are people going to say? How are they going to view us? I know, like when I started to say, hey, I wanted to be like, a speaker, a mentor, all these things, people were just looking at me like I had 10 heads. Like, what are you talking about? What is that?
Yeah.
And it's because it was not something that they were used to. They it's not a 9 to 5. It's not a traditional. It's not, it's something else. And so being able to educate and inspire and motivate others folks who are wanting to do kind of the same things that we're doing. But it's not like you have to do this. This is just we're just being expressive. We're just showing you how we carry on about our day and how we
Yeah.
live.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And fear can be the big monster in the room, and that can paralyze you for your whole entire life, right?
Yes.
Is when we uh, bet on ourselves and
Yes.
get out of our own way,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
really take the leap of faith is when we have our breakthroughs. And one of the things that I also learned, because even as females, we as people, we don't want to fail. We don't want to be seen as a failure,
Yeah.
right? And so we stop ourselves from really engaging in things that will make us break through. um, but definitely taking a chance on yourself and betting on yourself really is the catalyst, right? It's a
Yeah.
turning point in your life. And so I think we should not be as afraid. And if you need to take baby steps, then do so, but baby steps in the direction that that's going to bring you happiness. I think
Yes.
at this point in my life, I mean, I gave most of my youth to the military, right? And it was a wonderful experience. But now I want to do things that make me happy, like genuinely
Yeah.
happy. That's
Yeah.
it.
I'm choosing that over anything else. If it doesn't make me happy, I just drop it
That's
immediately.
it. And
I
that's
just
for
can't.
people too. That's
Yeah, that's
people,
I'm
places,
like
and things.
all this right here, I cannot deal with. If I'm waking up and I got a frown on my face because you here and you making me miserable, that's not gonna happen anymore. Because I had to do that kind of thing when I was in the military. Y'all just gave us people, right?
Yeah.
And we didn't get to choose. We, we
Mhm.
we tried our best to make sure that they were part of the team, but some folks you just did not want to be around. That means it was just plain and simple. So now, when in the next chapter, why not? Right? Why not decide for yourself of who's going to be in your space and who's breathing the same air as you? Like I tell you all the time, like it's we've got to do better at that. And that's about speaking up, right?
Mhm.
And it's about, knowing what we want and making sure people know and understand that. And sometimes that could be hard because we're scared of what the response is going to be.
Absolutely, absolutely. And another thing is, you know, at this point in my life, energy, man, the energy and
Energy.
the vibe needs to be there. If you're not bringing that good energy and bringing value, then I'm sorry. Nice
Gotta
to
go.
meet you. Bye bye. Uh,
Yeah.
we don't have time. Time is money now as entrepreneurs. We have to be very strategic to the time that we give others. Very, very important now more than ever. So,
Yeah,
mhm,
I absolutely 100,000% agree with you because I talk about low vibration energy all the time where
mhm,
people are just complaining and whining and carrying on about how their life sucks or it took a turn here and this and that. And then they want to like share that all day every day, and I don't have time for that. Like if your energy is way down here,
mhm.
right? I just can't, I'm not going to even go there. We're not even going to be friends. It's not going to be a thing. And it's okay, right? It's okay. But I think it's important that we do that. And I'm just going to welcome in a couple of people here. Hey, Thelma, welcome into the live session. And of course, Bokenza, I call her, she's got Zavi here, but that's her real name, is here in the house as well. So thank you so much for being here. Christina, I didn't give you a shout out here. Shantae is here as well. So thank you, ladies, for staying here and really listening into a conversation. And if you've got anything that you want to ask Shirley, while she's here, or if you want us to talk about something, you put it in the comments and making sure that we express that. And I'll just say apologize because it is dark in my space here today. I don't, it's the computer's technical error, whatever it's called, but it is all good. So let's talk a little bit about your authorship, okay? Because my queen, you over here just, I see you on TV shows. You said that they had a cast or a crew in your house. They were going to do a video on. So tell us about your books.
Yes. So as I was transitioning, one of my mentors, he had suggested to write a transitional book, a book about transition, because they saw that I was being successful at it, right? I was able to do a good job in that aspect. And so, I never thought about writing a book. I'm like, that's interesting. I love journaling and meditating and all of that, but I never thought about writing a book. And so as I was thinking about it and contemplating, I was like, you know, I should write a book, but I think I want to write a book like a hybrid of a memoir and leadership, like how I kind of grew up and went through the different phases of molding myself to become the leader that I am today,
Mm-hmm.
and the leadership principles that I live by, right? And so that that really gave me an idea to want to then write the book. And once I told him that, he introduced me to one of his friends who's a publisher, ex-Marine, who stood up his own publishing company. And at that time, he was running a 90-day write your own book challenge.
Oh.
And so, I took the chance. I was taking a sabbatical at the time, and
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, this is the perfect time. If I'm going to do this, this is the perfect time to do it, because I have
Okay, so
time.
hold for a second, Shirley. Okay, before we, and I hate to interrupt you, but I think we need to talk about the sabbatical. Okay,
Hmm.
so I know so many people are jumping right into a job. And look, if that's what you have to do, that's what you have to do after you retire either from the military or from a corporate career. So, how did you go in did you already have it in your mind or in your plan that you were going to take a break?
No, but a lot of my friends that had transitioned did tell me, you need a break. You need a break. And again, it goes back to taming that fear monster within you because of the uncertainty of life and uncertainty of things when you transition from the military. And that I let that monster sink in, and instead of listening to my mentors and my friends to take some time off, I dove right into the first thing. And I was a statistic. I'm not afraid to say I was a statistic, uh, to the first thing that was offered to me.
Mhm.
And that was because I let the fear monster get a grab of me. And I tell you that I went into my first job right. I took, I think, 2 weeks of leave
Yep.
after I got out, and I went right into my first job. And it was a startup. It was a small startup, great people. I mean, I love the people. I was working remote. I mean, who didn't want to work remote? So, but I soon found that it was not my jam at all. It was not my jam, girl. And I suffered in silence for 7 months. seven
Mm.
months because I still struggled with the loyalty thing, right? As a soldier, right? I'm still taking off my uniform, mind you. Loyalty, what they're gonna think of me. I never quit, right? Never quit. Um, Always kind of support, your leadership or whatnot. And what I needed to find out is that, hey, it's like my aunt told me, Shirley, you can quit.
Right.
That you have a job. I'm like, really? What? Like, it was something that it was so foreign to me, right?
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
you get ingrained these things, and now it's like, oh my god, I'm fearful that I'm not going to have a job and not going to be able to sustain myself. And so I was a statistic of those soldiers that leave the job within a year,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it was really hard for me because they didn't want me to leave, but I knew that mentally and emotionally I needed a break because I was burnt out. I
Yeah.
was burnt out. And so I took like 6 months break. Like I
Mhm.
took a good break,
Yeah.
and then that's kind of when I started coming into my own again and being happier and finding myself and giving myself a break,
Yeah.
you know? And that's kind of when I took a good break, that's when I plunged into the authorship, because now I was my mind was clear. I was mentally clear, and was more at ease and not
Mhm.
feeling guilty, because mind you, when I quit, I felt very guilty for a long time, and I felt like I let people down, you know.
Mhm.
And so I had to get over that. But once I did, I got really, really happy. And that's when my creative juices started flowing again. So that's when I
Yeah.
started writing.
I love that, because that mental break that we need
Mm,
just to find ourselves again, to understand who we are and what do we like, and it just so profound when you said, we're so loyal, like it's an institution. So it's going to continue on and on and on. And sometimes we think when we leave, everything's going to fall apart.
yeah. And that train is gonna keep riding with you or without you. That's a
You know,
well-oiled machine.
it's just like, what are you thinking? So when you said your aunt said you can just quit,
Yeah,
it's true. We could just let it go,
that's it.
and find something else that we want to do at any point, but I do say that you need to have somewhat of a plan or an idea of what you would like to do in that,
Mhm.
so that you can get started in that direction and
Yeah.
not waste a lot of your time just sitting around going, I don't know.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
But, as soldiers, we're problem solvers, and we have
Oh yeah.
contingency plans. So just because I took a sabbatical doesn't mean that I didn't plan my next move. Let me tell
Right.
you. And you know what was the most important thing that I would tell any transitioning service member to? Build your network, because your
Yes.
network is your net worth. And that also goes with entrepreneurship as well.
Yes.
What really helped me get my next job, that I really liked, because now I was back in the education and mentorship and coaching arena, was the relationships that I had with other people who helped me slid right in there, right? Like take my resume and really create the most probable situation for me to get back into business, right? And so
Yeah.
definitely that helped a lot.
Yeah. So you got Shantae over here. She's like, as one of my friends' mom said, one monkey don't stop no show.
That's funny.
I know she's very quick-witted. I'm like, yes, ma'am. That's exactly what that is. But sometimes
Absolutely.
we get so involved
Yes.
in it, and we are conditioned when
Hmm.
we're there, that sometimes we forget that that thing is going to keep on moving after you're
Yes,
gone,
yes,
right?
absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, I wrote my book, and I think out of like 90 or 100 people, there was only four of us or three of us that completed the challenge.
Really?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. I was even surprised at myself. I stuck through it. And as I started writing and started really recording my thoughts, is
Yeah.
is really when I got inspired and really knew that I can help people through my story.
Yes.
And so it totally got fun. And yeah, it was like from 100 and something, it was like three of us that
Wow.
that came into the finish line, and it was a wonderful experience because our publisher actually worked with Barnes and Noble, so we can do the launch at the Barnes and Noble here
Oh,
in Tampa. And
that is
so,
awesome.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so Leslie here, she is actually an author, and she helps women to write their story as well and write their books. So she's giving you some big ups. She says, wow, people say they want the prize, but aren't willing to do the work.
No.
Right. So congratulations. Yeah. And that's in anything that you do.
Oh,
Is there's a lot of talking, and I have to preface this that I'm not coming from a malicious or a crazy place in my heart, but people do a lot of talking, all
mhm,
right, about what they want, how they want it, and so forth. But when they look at the work that is involved to get to that point, they're like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. Or
absolutely.
they give up right at the point when things are going to about to turn,
Hmm.
because they just like, yeah, I haven't seen anything for, 2 years, 3 years. So,
And they give up, and that's actually the title of my book is Lead Your Ship. Like, you lead your life, you lead your ship by being your own leader, by exercising leadership in your
yes,
life. And so
yes.
definitely it's on you. It's on you. It's just how bad do you want it?
How bad do you want it? That's it. It
Oh,
really, I mean, it boils down to that, and what are you willing to do to get it?
absolutely.
And I'm not talking
Especially,
about, again, I'm not trying to tell y'all to go rob banks and, do some crazy, do some crazy crimes or anything like that. But I'm just saying, like, the effort and the energy that you got to put in to things that you really, really want, we can really get into a downward spiral, right?
mm, oh yeah.
Especially as entrepreneurs or business owners, or so even if you're starting out in a new career, you're just really you're just overwhelmed, first of all, of everything that it involves. And you could just be just one little thing can throw you off track, just one little thing. And so when you talk about resilience and, bring yourself back and really staying focused on what it is that you want,
Oh my goodness, yes.
you
That's
know what I'm
right.
saying? It's
It's
just, go ahead.
no, it's no, I support 1000%. It's, you have to figure out what it is that you want. There was an interesting book that I read that one of my mentors gave me, and it's called Design Your Life. It's
Mm,
implementing design thinking into creating the life, your ideal life, right? And it allows you, it allows you to make three types of ideal futures, right? And things in between, and you're allowed to try different things. Try this, try that. If it doesn't work, go on to the next one. Go on to, but it has to have, the focus needs to be, how do you see yourself? How do you
mm,
see yourself in your ideal life? How do you see, what is it? What are the value that you're bringing into not only your life but into other people's lives? What do you see yourself doing that's going to make you genuinely happy from within? And
yeah.
so, you got to draw your three ideal futures. I did that with my coach, and I tell you that I adhere to one of them. Like, I go back and I look at my notes, and I'm like, holy cow! Like, I'm actually doing this, and I
Yeah.
totally forgot about the little map. Mind mapping also works so much. I mean, I do a lot of mind mapping. For those of you, is like, this is like my mind mapping board. I love mind
Ooh,
mapping and just
I
writing out,
love that.
and so everything, and then you'll see that everything has some type of connection, you know
Yes.
and it lets you, because we're planners, right? In the military,
Mm-hmm.
we love to plan, we like to
Mm-hmm.
whiteboard,
Mm-hmm.
so that really helped a lot. Yes, my book is called Lead Your Ship. This is my book. You can find it at Amazon.
And I think she wants the other one too, the design your life.
Oh, okay. So it's
And your
called,
other one, and whatever books you got going on back in there, showing all
yeah.
the people.
No, I want to tell you which one it is because is a really good book. Is Design Your Life. Just a second. Okay. Design Your Life. So Design Your Life is by these guys. They're actually college professors. Uh, it's by Bill Burnett and Dave Evans. Designing Your Life. So this is what the
Mm,
book looks like. Designing Your Life.
I love that.
It's a great and helpful book for sure. So that really changed the way, like my approach to how I want to live my life.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Man, I think I have manifest a lot.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm all the way down to like where I want to live, what type of house I want to live with, in what community, what do I want to be doing with my day, having a studio in my house, and be able to like have the right lighting and, people there to do a talk show and bringing people in, having parties. Like I have like this big old idea about this life that I want to, have. And, Shantae's putting in here, Shantae, I love you, girl, because you are here. And for believers, pray over all of
Yes.
it. Then you will realize your failures are lessons and stepping stones to your next open door.
So true. So true. And having faith, that faith takes
Oh,
you a long way.
it sure does. It really does. And if you want anything in life, and it doesn't matter what it is, we have to be able to believe in the thing,
Mm,
right? And then we got to take the steps. And and Zabi says here, she's like, she's got the book, she put them out there for you on there, because
thank
like,
you.
I'm glad, because I don't have my comment section here, y'all. I can't post comments to some places. The only place that post is to YouTube. And so thank you so much for helping me on the admin side of that and putting that into the comments. I
Thank
really,
you,
really
Kathy.
appreciate that. So I know we've been here for a minute. I mean, it's going on like over an hour now, but we could probably have
You
another
said it would
conversation.
happen. I mean, we're just free
We're
flowing,
just talking.
Yeah.
So like, what other things would you share with our audience that they can use in their journey? So let's just talk about life in general. I know people are like transitioning, still working, still, maybe at home, because some folks are still at home, and maybe they're just, they're at home and they're raising that family, which is the hardest job on the planet,
Yeah.
that I think that exists. So what would you say or share that we haven't talked about?
Yeah, no, really believing in your abilities to acquire and achieve your best life.
Mm,
Believing in yourself, trusting yourself first and foremost, and getting out of your own way, because we do that a lot to ourselves. Be able to think big and dream bigger. There's nothing wrong with that, because guess what? We used to do it when we were little,
yeah,
and
we
we
did.
weren't scared to dream and become an astronaut and but as we become adults, we take life so serious. And I get it, right? We got bills to pay, we got responsibilities, but the most successful people and the wealthiest people allowed themselves as adults to dream big and to
Mm,
really take the leap of faith in the things that they know were, again, not only bringing value to others, but bringing happiness into their lives. So why not? It's so
yeah.
easy nowadays, so easy at the comfort of your home, social media. You just, hey, there's a lot of mompreneurs out there that
Oh yeah.
comfort of their home, they're killing it.
Mm-hmm.
They are killing it, and I know, like, your children, because you want to leave a legacy. You
Yes.
don't want your children to work as hard as you want. So you want to be the example. You want to leave a legacy for your family. And so I know that children can be your biggest motivators because you want the best for them, right? The best for
Yeah.
the family.
Yeah. I agree. I totally agree. Some people have stopped dreaming, years and years ago because they said it's not for
I give
me.
up.
I don't know what you're even talking about, and I'm like, what do you say to yourself that you really, really want, but that you push away because you're like, that will never happen for
But that
me.
always stays within, that always stays in their
Hmm.
mind and in their body, like, man, why didn't I ever do that? Right. And you're beating
Yeah.
yourself up about it. And that's what happened to me. Like, should I just take the plunge or regret it for the rest of my life by
Yeah.
not trying something that I actually
Exactly.
love doing?
Exactly. And that's where I'm at too. So I'm like, I'm on the same ship, if you will, as
Yes,
you. So it's
ma'am.
just like, this is all we're doing. And
And
I
we're
have,
leading our ship, let me tell
yeah,
you.
I don't know where we're going, y'all, but we try to do our thing.
We're going somewhere. I know that for sure.
It's, so Shantae's got this comment here that I wanted to share as well. She says, I'm glad you spoke about taking a sabbatical. I felt like a failure for taking one because all my friends hopped right back into the fire. It's so important for us to recollect ourselves to prepare for the next chapter. Thank you.
Yeah.
Man,
Mm.
you know what? I think I had a good example, y'all. That was the only reason why I haven't worked. So to be honest with y'all, I have a part-time job, but I work for 1 week out of the month, and it's half a day. That is how I'm, getting, some pocketbook money, as I call it, and some of my business money. But my husband did not work, and he decided to go back to work because he wanted for the social aspect, right? For 3 years, y'all,
Mhm.
3 whole years. And for me, I felt like we were not going to make it. I almost had a panic attack when he told me, yeah, we don't have to work, right? Now I know what our financial state is, right? But I really didn't believe it
Mm.
because I was so used to the first and the 15th, right? I was so
Absolutely.
used to like getting the paychecks. I was like, well, we don't have a paycheck for like almost 2 months because the military tried to figure out if you got an audit or whatnot.
Yeah.
And he was there for our son to teach him during the pandemic. I was, still working, but he didn't decide to get a job until we moved here to Maryland. And so I thought I had to have a different mindset that yeah, you're okay. And
Yeah.
you can take a break. And you need to take a break. I
Mm.
was too hot to be out here after my retirement. Like 30 years, you get to us. I look, people would not be able to take
A
me. They
long
would
time.
probably fire me at the gate because I was ready. Like, I'm like ready to like just, constantly doing this all
Yeah.
day. Right.
Mhm.
And so I needed that break. But now I'm finding that I'm betting on me.
Yes.
All those transferable skills that we have, that we got when we were in service.
Yeah.
Look at it's a value. A lot of people don't have that, and so, and for your peace of mind, my peace is much, much more important than going into something that I know is not going to give me that. So we all have to find it. There's no specific timeline. There's no like take 3 months, 6 months, a year, whatever. It's all on you, on
It's
how
all
you feel,
Oh, yes.
and the opportunities you get, and whether or not in your heart you say, I think it's time. Because y'all don't know. Like I could be out of this thing from and say, well, I got something else over here, y'all.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
and that's life, and
it
that's
is.
life, but that is a personal choice,
It
and
is.
like I said, me not listening, I became a statistic because I didn't wanna hear people telling me that I needed to take a break. No, because I can go on, but it was affecting my mental health.
Yeah.
And really bad, really bad. I got depressed and everything. And so
Yeah.
that's when I knew that I had to back away and take as much time as I needed to get better so
Yep.
that I can be productive.
Yes.
Mhm.
That's the key, because that's what we want. We want to be able to show up,
Mhm.
and in ourselves, and making sure that we are not harming other people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we got folks out here harming folks because they're upset and they're frustrated, they're angry. Not everyone's transition from the military was, great. There's a
Mm,
lot of people who left on a bad note,
that's
and then
right.
they just jump right into something else, and then they're affecting other people, which is not good.
Yeah.
So we've been talking here, y'all, for over an hour. We're going to start coming on back so that way we can get on out of here. I want to thank you, Shirley, for being here as my guest
Thank you.
for tonight in the middle of October. And as you are continuing to slay all the things, because if y'all ain't watching her, find her on LinkedIn, find her on Facebook. She is definitely someone that is living her life on her own terms, and also impacting and influencing other people in a most positive way. So I thank you, as my sister in arms who came here on the show. And for all those that came here live and gave such great comments and just, showing love here, thank you so much for being a part of this live discussion tonight. Leslie says, thank you, ladies, for an incredible show. You're absolutely welcome, madam. And so we will be coming back, okay? So if you want some more, okay, I'm going to need you to come back next Sunday, same time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'll have my guest, Chiza Marie. And so because I have a list of folks, and Chiza Marie is yet another person who is living their life on their own terms. And so she will be my guest for next week. So please do not miss that show and tell all your friends. All right. Also, I'm just going to put this out here one more time. Scan the QR code for all the Slay to Success happenings, because things are happening. Okay. So if you want to find out what I'm doing, what the Slay Queen is doing, and keep up, there you go. Okay. And if you need me, if you want me to help you in your journey, reach out to me. And I will be able to support you in your journey as well. So we are going to leave, y'all. So keep on slaying. Okay. Until you can't slay no more. And we will see you all next week.
All
All
right.
right. Bye.
Thank you all. Bye.